Welcome back to the STLK in the UTA Jazz podcast. I'm Conjo. This is Paul. It's Friday.
It's a great day.
It's a great day. We're coming off a Jazz loss. It doesn't make the day as good as I would have hoped.
I'd be lying if I said it didn't kind of impact my weekend plans.
It does.
No,
it absolutely does. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're too committed. You're too passionate. No. You can never be too committed. You can never be too passionate.
Even if I am. So what? Let me be a fan.
Love the Jazz.
Yes, I do.
And when they lose, it makes me sad. And I have every right to be sad.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. So we've got a great show. You know, it's a Friday show. We're trying to, mix it up a little bit. We're obviously going to recap our 133-109 win over the Memphis Grizzlies on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Great win. And then a 113-115 loss to the Orlando Magic yesterday. So 1-1, we projected to go 2-0 over those two games. Mm-hmm. Again, I'll take a win. I'll take a win. That we have the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. So lots of fun Jazz basketball. We're also going to do some fan questions in the middle of this. Go over a couple questions that were submitted. So.
Rumors are, I saw them all over social media, that there's a big announcement at the end of today's pod.
There is a big announcement.
A huge announcement.
No, there is a big one. It's a big one. So I'd stay tuned if I were you. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a fun one. So let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Memphis Grizzlies.
What a win.
What a win. Not only what a win, I was at the game in fourth quarter. I was yawning. I was like, we're destroying. It was fun. It was a fun one. And I like your shirt.
Thank you. I love it. I like yours too.
I also like it.
I showed up today and I said, Conjo, nice shirt. And he said, nice shirt to me. And we didn't plan this.
An unplanned Jordan Clarkson shirt bomb.
But my love for Jordan Clarkson is so deep. I could wear this every day. In fact, I do.
Well, and that's what's great is our key to the game a couple of days ago was get Clarkson hot early. What did exactly happen in that Memphis Grizzlies game?
Flame throwing.
No longer sixth man.
No. Starter
JC, Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Mm-hmm. I love having another JC on the team too. Jordan Clarkson to John Collins.
It's fun. If you watch the game on K-Jazz, Craig Bullerjack is always like, JC. And he's talking about Jordan Clarkson. Yep. And I saw a whole bunch of people be like, oh, well, he can't be doing that when John Collins is on the floor. And I'm like, do you know what? He can.
Because JC's been here JC. Longer. Yeah, yep. This is JC. So he's been great. So thought we'd give him a little shout out, honor him today. But yeah, so we came out the gate hot.
Really hot.
I mean, 47 points in the first quarter hot, which is insane.
The Jazz scored 78, I believe, or 79 in the first half, 2 points shy of their all-time first half record, which was 81. It was under Quinn Snyder, so that was Will Hardy's highest first half game ever. But that was cool to see, man. Against a Grizzlies team who's well coached. Obviously, they're missing a few key guys, but they do have their defensive player of the year.
I was literally just going to say they do have the reigning DPOY. Jaren Jackson Jr.
Their defense shouldn't be that bad. I think this goes out to show that the Jazz just shot the ball really well.
It was great. And there's some keys to the game that I want to go over. And this is over for the Magic game. For the Magic game, we were ahead most of the game, kind of lost it in the end. We shot well at the beginning, but this is a good Magic team. Remember you were saying to me yesterday, people were saying how can we lose to the Magic?
I got a handful of texts at the end of the night. I have one buddy in my life who's actually a Magic fan. I'm not sure why we still talk, but we do. And he was like, how that works. But anyway, a whole bunch of people were like, the Magic, we shouldn't lose to them. Well, we could, and we did. And they're actually a really good team. So last year, under Coach Mosley, they started 5-20, which is not really good. Since then, they've had a winning record, and they've actually had a top 5 defense in the league since their 5-20 start. So if you take out the first 25 games last year, they're top 5 defensive team all the way up until this morning, and it showed last night. If you watch some of the offensive possessions last night, looked like really stagnant, and you're like, why can't we move the ball? Why can't we get good shots? It's because we played one of the best defensive teams in the league. And for us to go out and score over 110 points and to have that be a one-possession game and we have multiple chances to win at the end, I think it was a really encouraging loss.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing I want to know is before I go into Paolo Banchero, I love how we say we.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
We say we when we refer to our own sports teams. It's like, I don't have an affiliation with you, but it's a we.
It's a we. It
just
feels
goes
like
to
my
show
family.
how passionate we are. I mean, and everybody is.
We as in us.
Yeah, like we are part of the team. So we just wanted to touch on that real quick. But Paolo Banchero. Something I do before every season is I list out, the all-stars that I think are going to happen this year. And Paolo Banchero made my list this year. He is a star.
Superstar.
Second year in the league. And the way he can put the ball down at his size, 6'10", and, shoot a mid-range, create his own shot, get to the rack, as we saw, unfortunately, at the very end of the game yesterday. He is one special player. He's really good. It's hard to see a scenario where he's not a all-star, at least for the next decade. At least.
Like, he's not high-flying in a sense where he's always off the ground, so you don't have to worry about injuries, or at least you hope you don't. He's not super quick in, like, where he's just blowing by people off the dribble. The way he plays the game is really, really replicable for the next decade at least.
Absolutely.
He's really good.
So let's go. I want to go over a tweet that we saw. And then I want to go over to two or three keys from these two games that I think will translate moving forward.
Okay.
One, this tweet was Mo Wagner, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
Mo or Franz?
One of the Wagner brothers.
One of them, or Lauri Markkanen.
Come on.
If you want to pick one moving forward. Yes, Lauri is a little bit older than both of them, but that's blasphemy.
Lauri Markkanen.
That is absolutely blasphemy.
Lauri Markkanen is a top 20 player in the NBA. He's a top 20 player.
15.
You want to share your take? You texted me last night.
I want to do 15. I think he's a top 15 player.
Okay.
And he is a guaranteed all NBA third team player this year.
Wow. At least. There's a chance for him to be top 2 team.
I personally think he's second all team. Again, because all NBA, for those listening, what an all NBA team is, this isn't like all stars East and West. This is literally your top 5 players in the entire league.
But you're building a team out of them. So it's point guard, shooting guard, small forward,
exactly.
power forward,
so it's not like you're mixing and matching. Like, you're literally going by position. So if you were to be the second power forward on the all NBA second team power forward, basically what you're saying is you are the second best power forward in the entire league, not in your conference like all-star, in the entire league. So it is way harder to make an all NBA team than it is to make an all-star team.
We have time.
Absolutely.
Who's going through? Who are your small forwards on the top 3 teams? I don't think so. If you didn't know this, a new rule is
Lowry's going to be power forward this year.
You think so?
Because of John Collins.
Is John Collins not our power forward? Either way, he's one of the two. But you have to play 68 games to be considered for all NBA, which is a lot. So I think that takes out LeBron. I think that takes out Kawhi. I think that takes out maybe Paul George, depending on how they rest him.
I think Lauri is basically competing against AD.
Yeah.
Because AD already has the status. He's looked at that way anyway.
It's his to lose, really.
Yes.
First top 2 teams.
Exactly. And so I think Zion as well, as we saw last year.
Yep.
I think Lauri replaced him in the All-Star starter selection for the All-Star game. And honestly, apart from that, like,
Giannis is a power forward and he's going to play a lot, which is hard.
So, it's hard to compete there. Jokic and Embiid are center. So probably Giannis, but I think all NBA third team is an absolute lock. So I think it's blasphemy to think that you take a Wagner twin over Lauri.
Oh, that tweet killed me.
And honestly, every aspect. But going to the Grizzlies game and the Magic game, Paul, I'm going to ask you a question. If you were to guess how many shots Lauri took in the Grizzly game, would it be over or under 20 shots?
The Grizzlies game,
where we won.
Over because we won.
Absolutely, it was over.
And less last night because we lost.
Exactly right.
Yep.
So something we've seen is when Lauri shoots 20 points or shots a game, we win.
Yep.
Every time he's shot less than 20 shots, we've lost.
Can I share another stat that I think goes into wins and losses? Jordan Clarkson, in our last 3 losses, 10 makes, 30 misses. He's 10 for 40 from the field, 2 for 13 from 3, which is not good.
No.
Here's the worst part, 16 turnovers in our last 3 losses. So I think there's 2 keys. When you let's say at the end of the third quarter, you want to look at stats and say, are we going to win this game? Look at Lauri Markkanen shot attempts. Look at just overall how is Jordan Clarkson playing, I think that's going to tell you a lot. Those stats are not good for losses. If you look at the wins, he's playing great. The losses, not so much.
Yeah, and what we've seen apart from that is, that's why I like keying in on those two, is John Collins has been phenomenal. He's putting the ball in the hoop. He's getting rebounds. He's doing his thing. Kessler still figuring it out. We're still figuring out our point guards. Those are naturally going to blend and naturally going to play their part. But I absolutely think it does come down to those two things: is Lauri 20 shots and Clarkson, not really a way to measure it, but playing good or playing not. Like
Jordan Clarkson's our second highest paid player on the team. We need him to show up like he is.
Yeah.
John Collins is actually the highest paid player. He's playing like it. Obviously, the offense doesn't run through him, but we need Jordan Clarkson to show up every night as if we're paying him a lot of money to do so, which we are.
Yeah.
And I know he's capable of it. And I think a little bit of the reason he's struggling is because we're asking him to do way more than he has done previously in his career. And I think he's capable of it. But again, Conjo, we're 6 games into the season.
6 games. I'm not worried.
I'm not worried. I think he's going to figure it out. He's one of the most talented players in the league, in my opinion, as far as just pure talent goes. He's going to figure it out. It doesn't look good right now. But again, Lauri shots, how is Jordan playing? Those are going to be keys to win every single game going forward.
You heard it here first. I mean, look at that moving forward, especially against the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. We're going to see and analyze Lauri's 20 points, or 20 shots, and Jordan Clarkson's ability. Honestly, is plus minus a good way to look at that? Maybe
I don't know. I haven't checked that number out, but
let's get into that. Let's come back on Monday with a stat on what is playing good and what is playing bad.
Jaden McDaniels, who's one of the best young defenders in the NBA, is going to be guarding Lauri all night tomorrow night.
Yes,
tomorrow's a perfect opportunity for JC, Jordan Clarkson, to have a huge game.
It's gonna be special.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be special. So we're gonna jump in now to something we did on our Instagram story yesterday. So we had lots of submissions of different questions. This is not only Jazz related, but all NBA. Something that we can just touch on and go over and enlighten some people on what's going on in the league. And we'd love to do that. So I'm gonna start it off. The first question was, what are your thoughts on the new City League jerseys?
The Utah Jazz City jerseys.
The Utah Jazz City League jerseys that they announced yesterday.
I love them. They're the best jerseys in the NBA. USA Today actually ranked them number 1.
I saw that, number 1.
Which I'm not surprised by. They go back to purple.
Love the purple.
The fans have been just begging for.
I mean, we say we're going back to purple, and then we hadn't seen it yet.
And then prove it.
And then we went black and yellow. Did. So we're finally getting that purple is back.
They have the mountains. For those who haven't seen it, look them up. They have mountains that are different gradient shades of purple. I think it's one of the best Jazz jerseys in the last 5 years. I think it's the best Jazz jersey since the sunset gradient City jersey.
We actually did a poll on our Instagram story, and it was 96% yes and 96% or 4% no.
I think the 4% were bots. I'm not sure how to check that.
I mean, it was crazy. 96% say yes. So obviously a fan favorite. And I love what Nike's done with the city jerseys and kind of the idea, bring nostalgic, relevant things in the city and putting it on a jersey like we saw with the Red Rocks, now purple. They've kind of gotten out of hand.
They're a little saturated.
I mean, the whole idea is a new jersey each year. Obviously for money purposes, getting people to buy new jerseys instead of holding on to the same one for a couple of years. So obviously that plays a part, but I love what we did with it. Made it a statement. Would love to see these stick around, longer, especially with going old school purple, now bringing in a new modern purple as well. Goes a long way. I really like it.
So if you haven't seen it, hopefully you have. The Jazz have a NBA in-season tournament court, which is purple, which is cool. We're going to wear those city jerseys with it. But the games that we don't have in-season tournaments, very purple. There's actually a new court that released just a regular hardwood.
For these jerseys.
Yep. And my favorite part, if you haven't seen it, go look it up. The wood has the mountain. It's very subtle.
It's like it's shaded differently, a different color.
Slightly shaded. There's a mountain in the wood. You need to check it out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. So, it looks like it got the W and passed the vibe check for Conjo and Paul.
Yeah, really passed.
Awesome. Next question. Who's your guys' favorite Jazz player of all time? Paul, I'm going to turn this to you.
Oh, okay. I think you know where my answer is going. It might shock a few. Donovan Mitchell.
I love him.
I love Donovan Mitchell. Did he break my heart getting traded? Yes. Was it his choice? Kind of felt like it. Maybe.
Does it happen? Absolutely.
So here's something. And
I mean, even Gordon Hayward. Yeah, it was Hayward's choice, but like at the end of rookie contracts,
how many people,
especially with the stardom that he had and has, it's unrealistic.
How many people stay with the current team that they're drafted with in the NBA nowadays?
Nowadays, no. I'm glad you said nowadays, because back in the day, that was cool.
Yeah, it was like the cool thing
that
to
was
stick
cool.
in San Antonio for 25 years. Donovan Mitchell gave us how long? 6 years? 5 years?
5 years.
However long he did, he gave us the most entertaining basketball I've personally ever seen from a Utah Jazz team. I know Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer, AK-47. They all were great. My personal favorite ever, Donovan Mitchell. No one got me more excited for Jazz games.
Well, especially because I think there's two things that go into this. One is everyone was down low because of Gordon Hayward. Mm-hmm. So to have a star that no one really expected either come out of nowhere like that was electric.
To beat Russ and PG in the first round of the playoffs.
Was electric. But I want to go to the Summer League. We went to the Summer League and we see him draw a charge on Jason Tatum, clap right in his face.
That was cool.
Next possession, do a spin move. Tatum falls over and then he does a no-look pass to the baseline and we get a dunk out of it. And we were like, this guy's electric. And then fast forward to the Lakers season, about 5 games in, me and Paul are actually at this game together. And shout out our friend Brig for bringing us.
Thank you, Brig.
And we get a putback. And everyone remembers Alec Burks takes a shot, takes a kind of a transition 3.
Yeah.
Bricks it off the front of the rim, off the backboard. Donovan goes up, grabs it with one arm, and just yams it.
Man.
And that was like, okay, we have a star.
We have a star.
And it was, I mean, that was like one of my favorite moments I'll never forget that. So that was, I don't blame you. I think that is an absolutely great take.
Same game in that summer league. He steals the ball from Jason Tatum near half court, has a wide open breakaway. Jason fouls him. Donovan turns around and gets in his face. And that's when I was like, oh,
we've got a dog.
We've got a dog. And, and in fact, I want to pull up the tweet. I said that exact thing. I said, we have a dog.
Yeah,
this guy's great.
That's awesome. So
I love Donovan. Who's yours?
It's most people my age or our age are going to probably agree. This is kind of like right when we were old enough to say basketball. Darren Williams.
Sure.
D. Will. People don't understand. He was the best point guard in the league for 3 years, beating Chris Paul. What's funny is we actually took Darren Williams a pick after Chris Paul, and everyone's like, oh, Chris Paul, this, just because Chris Paul now is way more relevant than Darren Williams is. But that's absolutely not true. It's easy to say that about a lot of different picks, but going at what Darren Williams did for us for so many years, redeemed team 2008 with Carlos Boozer, but he was the number 1 point guard, and that crossover, special.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, the double crossover. He invented the double crossover. I mean, AI, had his realm with it, but the smoothness of just going one end, another way, and then that mid-range shot, he was awesome.
He was
every
so fun
kid our age loved him. The baby blue Darren Williams jersey.
At my elementary school growing up, if you had a baby blue Darren Williams jersey, you're the coolest kid there. Like you get the basketball court, you can have it. You're the captain. You
wear it 3 days a week
at least.
It was special. Yeah. So I have to go Darren Williams on this one.
There you go. I like it.
So feel free to comment your guys' favorite Jazz player of all time. But next question: thoughts on Clippers James Harden trade?
For those who haven't seen it yet, and I'd be shocked if you haven't, the Clippers traded Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, one other player, I believe.
Couple picks.
Salary, and 2 first-round picks and a swap, I believe.
Yep.
For James Harden and
PJ Tucker.
Cool. I love the trade if I'm the Clippers. It's a little scary. James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, all unrestricted free agents this upcoming year.
Which means that their contract's over. They can very well sign.
Yeah.
And what the difference between unrestricted and restricted is, if it's restricted, your team can match it, whoever offers them that contract, and they have to stay.
Yes.
They have to stay. Where unrestricted, there's no clause there. Basically, they're free
unrestricted.
To go. Yeah. You are free to go. So.
So it's a little scary because the Clippers now don't own their own first round pick until 2029.
So it's all in for the Clippers.
It's all in for the Clippers. If something goes terrible, the soonest they could trade James Harden away, if they want to this year, is the new year, January 1st. I like the trade for the Clippers, though. I think this is a Steve Ballmer-esque move. He says, I'm building a new arena. I need to sell seats. I need to go all in this year. Sure. I guarantee there's a wink with James Harden, like, hey, you're going to stay here a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
Same with Paul George and Kawhi. That's a scary team.
Well, they've all played with each other in one way or another, right? You see like PG and Russ in OKC. You see Harden and Russell Westbrook in Houston. Like there's a lot of different mix and matches going on. And I'm sure, a lot of people are really bagging on this team. They're not going to be good. James Harden comes out and says, I don't play in a system. I am the system. So we'll see how that translates on a team with Kawhi, with Paul George. And honestly, Russell Westbrook has been phenomenal.
Yeah, he has been. What is scary, and I've watched almost too much Clipper basketball this year, their half-court offense is such a your turn, my turn type of thing. And for James Harden to come in and say, no, I am the system. You're like, okay, well, your system historically has just been like dribble, shoot, which works really, really well for him. I'm really curious to see how Tyronn Lue, who I think is one of the best coaches in the NBA, I'm excited to see how he makes them play together because they have to if they're going to win.
You have to. So you're hoping that, obviously they want to win and they're not idiots. They want to win. So I'm hoping that we get to see them actually like compete and play, and it'll be fun to see that. So that's kind of our thoughts.
Kawhi's the only person on that team with a ring, by the way.
Two of them.
Yeah. Well, I guess Bones Highland, if the Nuggets gave him one when he got
technically
traded.
He's like
he wasn't on the team, but you get a ring.
He gets a ring, but we're not counting that.
Yeah, no anyway, Kawhi's the only one. I'm really excited to see how he leads them into the playoffs.
So next question is, who are early season surprises?
I know yours. Do you want to share yours?
Mine's Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
He has been a great point guard. And the reason why I want to bring up Tyrese Maxey is because this opens up a conversation under Tyrese Maxey was not granted a extension. And we just went over on Wednesday, Desmond Bane, how he did get his extension and he's kind of slowed down. That tends to happen, right? You tend to slow down. And, LaMelo Ball is also in that conversation.
He did get the extension.
Got the extension, kind of slowed down. Yep. And you see these guys excel in the year before their extension. So Tyrese Maxey is wanting not only an extension, but a max after this.
Yeah.
And he thinks he deserves a max contract. And that's exactly what he's doing.
So what's hard is you don't really pay attention to this kind of stuff because it's not really a covered topic. For some reason, I feel like money has been a taboo subject with NBA players lately in the national media, talking about the exact dollars. But if you're not a lottery pick in the first round, which Tyrese Maxey wasn't, you're not even getting half the money that a lottery pick is.
No.
And these players know it. They're the ones getting paychecks. Like they pay attention to this stuff. That's why they do this for a living. He wants that money. And as he should, he's a 30 points per game guy. In the Raptors game last night, Joel played great. Tyrese Maxey, the way he pushes the ball, the way he sets the pace for that offense, he is a max player for the Philadelphia 76ers. I think he'll get it this year.
Awesome. And, another reason why I bring that up is, who is eligible for an extension? Lauri Markkanen,
the finisher.
So he has one more year, but he is eligible for an extension this upcoming year. And it exactly shows what he's doing. He's putting up insane numbers. Like I'm throwing out all NBA third team, and he absolutely deserves a supermax. And what this is going to do is, obviously we need to sign these guys. Like, we've said before with Rudy Gobert, that was another signing people were worried about. But being able to draft guys like this, are tough to get, especially when we're not going to get a lot of free agents. We're not going to get a lot of, different big guys like that, where we were able to trade and get Lowry and nobody was expecting him to be this good.
No.
And you look at him being an all-star starter. Donovan was also an all-star starter. So we basically traded an all-star starter for another one with X, Y, and Z, and
with 5
Sexton
picks.
and Ochai and 3 legit first-round picks. So it's crazy what we were able to get in return, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. And if I'm Danny Ainge, I'm smashing the button and I'm trusting in him, and we're gonna sign him, and it's gonna be the right move.
I don't know if you want to ask me or not, but my biggest surprise or biggest what was the exact question again?
Who is your early season?
Victor Wembanyama. I'm not sure if anyone caught the Suns game last night. He took over.
Took 38.
He's the first rookie to do that since Kevin Durant. I think we are watching. So
I saw that picture next to him.
Yeah, I said,
you made KD look like a little small guy.
Someone put a Raymond Felton picture right next to him too, and I said, oh, that's completely different. But there was a lot of hype surrounding him coming into the league, and it's always so hard to live up to it.
Especially after Summer League, where he came out not great.
Not good. I am so impressed with him. I'm really excited to see where it takes him. But that's been my biggest.
I like that.
Wow. The first pick of the draft.
And I like how it's a surprise because, I mean, exactly like you just said. He's the first pick of the draft. Like, why is that a surprise? But it's because you still have to live up to that. Well, that's hard to do.
These teams are keying in on him. He's a 7'3" shooter, like
monster from Space Jam.
Seriously. But anyway, the fact that he's been able to do this and he's only played 5 games, I'm wildly impressed.
Awesome. Well, kind of our last question here is something we've talked about on the pod, but we can kind of dig a little bit deeper. What's the Jazz's weakest area in their game and how to fix it? Obviously, it's the defense. We've had 88 straight games now, giving up 100 points. The streak continues. How do we fix an obvious defensive lack of ability in our game right now?
I don't know, Conjo. That's a really good question. If I did know the answer, I think I'd get a call from Will Hardy at some point this weekend.
Yeah, I sure would.
I hope we would. Here's the thing. So Walker Kessler had 5 blocks in the first half last night, and you would think that translates to better numbers defensively. If there was a game that we weren't going to give up 100, it's the game that we were probably up 35, I think, in the first half.
I texted you when they had 46 points. I said, this is where we break it.
What did I say? And
you said, I trust in history.
Yeah.
And he was right. I would have put money down on it, and he proved me wrong. He trusted in history. So
Will Hardy, for better or for worse, doesn't really care about. He cares. He doesn't prioritize defense as much as offense.
I think a big thing here is Walker Kessler. Obviously, he's been slow, and I think as he starts to get better and gets comfortable again, I think we'll see that defensive efficiency go up.
So something to keep an eye on with Walker. So Donovan Mitchell, we've talked about him a handful of times already today, was a really good rookie. The first half of the season, almost his second year, he shot less than 40% from from the field and less than 25% from 3. And the reason for that is the whole league has a year's worth of film on you now, and now they know how to exploit you. It's happening to Walker Kessler. Obviously, it's on the defensive end, but we need to find a way to get Walker comfortable. I think it's going to happen, and I think we break that 100-point streak relatively soon, if I had to guess.
We'll be tracking on each pod.
Yes, we will.
So that'll be something will be noted. Will be noted. But Paul, we're about to wrap up. I know you had one last little thing you wanted to throw in before we wrapped up. Is that right?
It is. It's a question I had written down, and I don't want to mess it up. Is it too soon to look for a consolidation trade at the point guard spot?
Yes.
It is too soon.
I think we're just 6 games in. Something I want to highlight is we have, the packages to give. We have plenty of young guys. We have plenty of picks. Yeah. So what we're able to give up is an A+. So it's now just getting an A+ back. And I know before the season started, we were shopping Tyler Hero and guys like that. So I think it's too early. I do think will be in the conversation soon, but I don't think it's too crazy.
I think it'll happen, but I agree. I think it might be a little too soon.
Yeah.
You want to touch on the announcement before we bounce?
Let's talk announcements. So obviously everybody, like, subscribe, follow our YouTube, Instagram is super engaging, fun. It's been really fun so far. We on Monday are going to do a giveaway for Lower Bowl Jazz season, or not Jazz season tickets, man. Wish I could give that up, right? Some Jazz tickets, right? So, we want to give away some Jazz tickets to some fans. Basically all you're going to have to do is just, obviously follow us, stay in tuned, and we'll kind of give the details on that announcement on Monday, but stay tuned for some Jazz season tickets. Gosh,
not season.
I'm getting excited. Some Jazz, just normal tickets for a game, and it should be an exciting one. So we'll catch you on Monday with a little bit more details on that, but this has been the STLK in the UTA Jazz podcast. Conjo and Paul will catch you back on Monday.